Meet the Shantungosaurus, also known as the Shant. Excluding the pew, the Shant is the biggest playable herbivore in the game, weighing easily over 10 tons, and a total max health of 11,793. It is a literal walking fortress of plant-eating fury, just like your mum. This makes even the largest of carnivores think twice before trying to take a bite, and it makes the Chimera look severely malnourished, but to be fair, it was already looking like that anyway. The Shant was one of the few dinosaurs that was added to the game upon its initial early release, but despite the length of time it has been around, it never made it out of sandbox mode. Forever banished from being playable on the official servers, it's likely going to make its return to Evrimer in the distant future, but for now we're going to explore this hulking herbivore, learn about how it works, and see if I somehow still manage to survive terribly as the apex plant eater of the dinosaur world. As our adventure begins, let me stress to you how vulnerable I really am at this stage in the Shant's life. Whilst the devs gifted the Shant with immense power and bulk at adulthood, it comes at the cost of being one of the most delicate juvies to grow in the Legacy Isle. The reason being is that Shant doesn't technically have a juvie stage. Instead, it starts and remains at the hatchling stage until full growth, which means that whilst the Shant grows in size and looks imposing over time, its hatchling status means it's actually constantly one bite from death throughout the majority of its growth cycle. So you better hope that those you pass by assume you're a lot bulkier than you actually are. But hey, at least you can steal food from the other nests just like a full-grown man taking full advantage of his kid's birthday buffet. With that all being said, we can be sure that I will be avoiding all conflict until I'm grown enough to be a certified brick shithouse. The early stages of my growth was quite peaceful, but soon I found myself in the company of other juvie dinosaurs. This did make me feel generally safer, but it wouldn't be for long. After hearing a Rex call in the distance, I was hoping that my friends had the collective brain capacity to stay quiet, but I was wrong. And I soon realised that my chances of survival would be much better if I ditched my newfound buddies. After creating some distance, night began to approach and I didn't have a good feeling about being a sitting duck with the looming threat of a hungry apex coming my way, so I logged until daytime approached. While we wait for the sun to rise, let's talk about what tools the Shant has at its disposal. It actually has two alternative attacks available for use, one being the Stomp that does incredible amounts of damage, capable of one-shotting an adult apex if timed correctly, however this uses substantial stamina and should be used with discipline. Its secondary attack is a Headbutt, which deals lighter damage without sacrificing your stamina pool. The hitbox on this particular attack is pretty wonky, so it's quite effective at damaging tailbiters if your Stomp ain't working out. Now one epic gamer tip to note with the Shant is that you can actually skip the standing up animation with the Stomp, similar to the Camera. Because of this, it is a popular strategy for Shant players to bait predators to attack them while they are lying down, only to turn them into a red smear on the ground once too close. This dude is also a massive damage sponge, as you can imagine, meaning that if you do run out of stamina during a fight with anything smaller than an apex, you're quite welcome to sit down and gain stamina mid-fight. Although anybody with an inch of PvP experience should be able to handle this situation far before losing any stamina at all. But as my gamer skills are not up to standard, I'm effectively glorified AI prey at this rate. Less so the herbivore that apexes are meant to fear, and more so the fat guy that everybody bullies. Back to my survival journey, and I made my way to the Great Pipe of V3, said to give blessings to those who drink the slightly spicy water that flows from it. I chose this area to grow, as it was pretty quiet, and considering I currently can't outrun or kill what threatens me, I'm better off growing away from the rest of the population. During this time, I explored my current territory, and found out there's actually a second pipe that I didn't know existed. I drank the blessed water from there too, which made my brain tickle, and I proceeded to keep myself alive the best I can, whilst I awaited to grow into the absolute unit I was destined to be. It's worth mentioning that amongst the other sandbox dinosaurs, the Shant is one of the most mechanically complete, having all the features that the survival dinosaurs have, meaning it's capable of nesting, sniffing, and lying down. So while we wait for my cursed Shant to reach adulthood, why don't we learn about the real Shantungosaurus? And today we have Regalius as a special guest to talk about them.
Shantungosaurus, the largest non-sauropod dinosaur that ever lived, with it being around 50 feet in length and 15 tons. This is significantly larger than many of its relatives, such as Edmontosaurus, Saurolophus, and is even similar in size to some sauropods, such as Titan, the only sauropod known to live with Shantungosaurus. And our hadrosaurs founded the Xinjiang Formation around 74 million years ago, with the vast majority of dinosaur fossils in the formation being from Shantungosaurus, with there being multiple individuals that were all killed at once, most likely by a flood or another event that killed them quickly and buried them all in the same place. Similar to all other hadrosaurs, Shantungosaurus had over 8,000 teeth, with them forming a structure called a dental battery, and with the amount of food it ate, Shantungosaurus needed an efficient digestive system to process hundreds of pounds of vegetation every single day. Sadly, we don't have many other animals that were known to live with Shantungosaurus, with ceratopsians such as Sinoceratops, Zooxantheceratops, and Isoceratops being some of the only other herbivores in the region, and the only large theropod was Zooxantheceratops, which was one of the largest tyrannosaurs, with it reaching around 6 tons and 33 feet in length. And while it was a threat to Shantungosaurus, it was significantly smaller than our hadrosaur, and Shantungosaurus would have been able to defend itself with its sheer size alone. Shantungosaurus is one of the most interesting dinosaurs out there to me personally. With its massive size, it towers over most of its relatives and most dinosaurs that we know of. I'm excited to see Shantungosaurus in more paleomedia, and especially in the Isle of Rima. But with that over, thank you so much for having me, Baelish, and I will see y'all on the other side.
Back to the session, and I managed to reach my true potential as an adult Shant. And the Shantungosaurus colours and patterns are some of my favourite in the game, looking like a walking bus seat of multiple shades of blues, greens and reds. Meanwhile, as expected, the female version of the Shant follows the same look, although a lot more faded. Perhaps it reflects the inherent stress that female Shants take on when they realise they have to babysit their children until they're old enough to take out a pension. So there I was, frolicking like the happy fat Shant that I was, when suddenly I was approached by a suspiciously quiet Maya. Perhaps he was shy, but then again, this is the Isle, and it wasn't long until I was surrounded by a mixed pack looking for trouble. Now, usually a Shant shouldn't have much trouble dealing with mid and small tiers. However, other Shants aren't controlled by me, and thanks to my terrible stamina management, this ended up being a prolonged battle of me doing my best to catch the little shits and then resting to get my energy back, just like an old man trying to keep teenagers off their yard. After some long resting sessions, some of them started to develop a false sense of security, and I eventually managed to mush the Utah into the ground, and with him out of the way, all I needed to do now is wait for the Carnos and the Mayas to make similar mistakes. After more time passed, I had no luck taking out the drive-by Carnos, but after seeing a Maya doing a little sniff dance, I knew there was something else I could do. After this hadrosaur dance-off, the mixed pack found new value in my life and decided to leave. Perhaps they felt too bad for me, or perhaps they respected that I didn't take multiple chances to safe log and stayed for the love of the game. I really hope it's the latter. So after healing my hundreds of tiny bite marks, I decided to leave the holy land of pipes and stroll down back to my original spawn point. This was to conclude my adventure. However, it wouldn't feel right if I didn't kill off my dinosaur at the end of the video, so I decided to head down to the beach and help some friends in need and die with some honour. I hope you enjoyed this spotlight, and big thanks to Regalius for sharing his knowledge on the Shantungosaurus, and also thank you for his continued support of this channel. I heavily recommend you check out his channel if you aren't subscribed already, and as mentioned before, expect another video soon. Thank you so much for watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.